equipment. Ha! So I want to make that point because that was a popular thing, and you see this fad that's kind of going around the gym, and it didn't do what it said for sure. So, but it was an oxygen restriction mask, and I would try to tell people in the most sensible way that it's like, hey, you know what? It's actually hurting your training routine. It's not doing what it is. Okay? It was very interesting to see how tribalistic everybody was getting around this mask. So, I want to point out that people voluntarily put these oxygen restriction masks on, believing that what they thought it was going to do, it really didn't do. Now, fast forward to where we're at now, and all of a sudden, and for the record, it was not the biggest thing I needed to deal with, obviously in the current COVID world, but dealing with Karens. I'm sorry if your name's Karen, chances are I probably still like you. I'm talking about the stereotype. Somebody that basically wants to instill their privilege and their opinion of what's going on and try to sell it off as a law or fact. Okay, I've already stated what the law and the facts were, and those were policies that we needed to uphold as a gym. But with that being said, I find it very ironic that people wanted to start complaining about health conditions and lack of oxygen and all these other issues in this pandemic world and trying to instill their right on why they didn't need to wear the mask. Okay, I will even post up the American Disabilities Act that people were walking around with these fake cards trying to say that this was their medical privilege on why they didn't need to wear the mask. It wasn't a thing. Even they came out with it on the website. It wasn't a thing. Now, let's go back to using a mask in a workout, because I know a lot of people are talking about that. And I want to let you folks know kind of how it worked in with me and why was I wearing my mask for every video before that. I'm on a bike, I'm by myself, I'm moving, I'm not talking with anybody, I'm alone, and I'm outside. This is where the attitude part comes in. Okay? The reason why is because when I came back after 3 months of not working out and not being able to do anything, knowing that the masks was now part of our lifestyle, regardless if I jumped on my bike and I started doing something, I was dying. And here's the thing, that was without the mask. I was deconditioned. I didn't do a damn thing for over 3 months. At least 3 months. I'm going into detail on that one. For me, I took it on as a challenge. Knowing that, obviously from what the scientific data was saying, and for all the things that I said earlier in regards to limiting oxygen, there is a reality that my limit of oxygen consumption was the fact that I was out of shape. I was already gassed out. And I needed to challenge and condition myself to the point that I could still be able to do what I needed to do with the mask. So guess what? I jumped on my bike. I started going around Kaimana Park. The first time I did it, barely got my ass around the park in 1 lap. True story. Okay? Next time I did it, had my mask on, did it again. I went down, did a lap around the park, did some push-ups, did some sit-ups. It hurt. Did it again. Did it again. Told my employers that I gave them a date of when I was going to come back, and for the difference of that time, I used it to better myself, knowing that for my job description and what I needed to do, I needed to be physical, and I needed to be physical with the mask on. I did that. I gave myself a couple weeks. Next thing I was doing was 8 miles all the way from Kaimana Park down to Kohala Hotel. all with the mask on. Now, for those who know me, yes, I had to modify my mask around. What I ended up doing was actually putting more filters into it. So I actually have a HEPA filter as well as a water wicking layer, and also this cloth mask. For the record, I actually had these before COVID happened. For those who don't know, this is actually a fisherman's mask, and it was to prevent a lot of the glare and sunburning of your face for people that actually would just go to the beach and fish. It's meant to be a sunblock. So it is breathable, very breathable. But for the sake of argument, that's why I also put part of the other filters, because I wanted to, double and triple check. Now, if I'm putting filters upon filters upon filters, you can make this argument that, well, isn't that harder to breathe? Yes. But then I needed to start forming the mask in order for me to have a little bit more of a breathing cup. Plus, I also don't like something that's always rubbing up against my nose and, obviously the facial hair and all that type of stuff. So I decided to design a mask that wouldn't impede me inside that sense. And that's what I did. That's what I wear nowadays, because I had to get used to the mask. Now, one of the things that I had noticed when I started training some people back at the gym was, if I can be sympathetic to everything that I had to go through and empathetic to what they're going through at the moment and see some similarities, then that tells me that they're not conditioned. And I am obviously going to be expecting that when people come back to the gym again. A lot of people, and I'm going to try not to sound arrogant, but I also wanted to at least put a layer of truth on this, is the fact that when people came back, you're deconditioned, you're exactly what I was. You're exactly winded. You're having a hard time trying to breathe. For the record, there's never been a client that I've ever had that straight out of the box was freaking Captain America. And they were like this super athlete that could do anything. Okay? You have a new goal, you have a new challenge. It's gonna hurt, because you're gonna be doing things that are different, things that you didn't need to do before. You're gonna get winded in everything that I'm gonna tell you how to do. So guess what? It's gonna hurt then. Is the mask gonna be another layer of challenge? Yeah, it probably is. But I guarantee you, if you didn't have the mask on, it's not like it's going to give you a superpower for you to be able to do the other stuff. I've yet to see that in over a decade of training people. It's hard. It's different. It's new. You're going to get over it. And then it's not going to be there. Because you don't give a rip, because your goal is bigger than what your challenges are. Guess what? Now we're into the attitude section. Are you going to keep on making excuses for yourself? I'm having a hard time breathing. Yeah, I understand. I'll give you a little bit more time. Doesn't change the fact of what we came here to do. Can I take a longer break? Yeah. And the next week when we get back to it, break's going to be a little bit shorter. Rest is going to be a little bit less. Weights is going to be a little bit heavier. That's how you get a goal. You challenge yourself. You let your body have time to adapt, because that's what it does in order for you to get better. How bad do you want it? I'm probably going to amend this video later. But for now, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to do what I need to do. I have to admit, that water felt great. I'm going to put this phone down and go back in again. But yeah, I hope that thing clears up a few things. And since we're on the eve of opening up, obviously with some controlled standards for the gyms. How's Bud? I want to make sure You know, we're here to help, and we're here to do our best in challenges. And I'm completely understanding of a lot of people's challenges. You know, one thing I want to mention is this. Sometimes as trainers, I think people start seeing us as like we're superhumans. Nah, we're just humans. We have the same challenges. We're just awkward in the sense that we have a good mindset about it. And we try to live the life and be able to practice what we preach. So, anyhow, stay safe out there. Talk to you soon, people. Take care.